Good afternoon. I'm Cody Calkins. I'm a nutrient management policy specialist for the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. You're here because this is the second video in a series for CCAs for nutrient management in Wisconsin. Today, we're going to cover the nutrient management requirements within ATCP 50, which is DACCAP's administrative code for the Soil and Water Resource Management Program. So what is nutrient management? It is the use of manure and other fertilizers to meet crop nutrient needs while reducing the potential for them to run off fields to lakes, streams, and groundwater. It ensures that crops get the right amount of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium at the right time and place. And it provides other benefits to the farmer by improving crop yields, reducing costs, and other benefits to the environment. So where do these rules come from? So here in Wisconsin, we have two agencies responsible for nutrient management. Those are the Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Agriculture. We're both charged with different things in state statute and state law. In Chapter 281, it requires that the DNR promulgate rules for agricultural performance standards. And it also requires the Department of Agriculture to provide the technical and other financial assistance necessary to meet those performance standards. So before you, you have a list of NR 151, that is the DNR's administrative rule known as runoff management. It establishes runoff pollution performance standards and prohibitions for agricultural facilities and practices designed to achieve water quality standards in Chapter 281. These are the list of those performance standards, from sheet, rill, and wind erosion to tillage setbacks, the phosphorus index, manure storage facilities, processed wastewater, clean water diversions, nutrient management, the slurry and bedrock performance standard, and other manure management prohibitions. Just a general overview of how policy for soil and water conservation in Wisconsin works is that the DNR, like I said before, is responsible for promulgating those agricultural performance standards. For example, we have NR 15107, which requires that manure, commercial fertilizer, and other nutrients be applied in conformance with the nutrient management plan. So over here at the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, we have our administrative rule, ATCP 50, which says that in order to meet NR 15107, you shall meet it through ATCP 5004, developing a nutrient management plan. And how we do that here in Wisconsin is we follow the NRCS's, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, 590 Conservation Practice Standard for nutrient management. In ATCP 50, like I mentioned, we have ATCP 50.04, which is that nutrient management plan requirement. We set forth some additional requirements in ATCAP 50 on what is necessary to develop and implement a nutrient management plan. It requires that all landowners who apply nutrients to any field, including pastures, have a nutrient management plan. That nutrient management plan must be written by a qualified nutrient management planner under ATCP 50.48. That plan must be based on soil nutrient tests conducted by a certified lab. And it also must comply with the NRCS 590 standard and accompanying technical note, Wisconsin Tech Note 1. As well, any recommendations for nutrient management plans in Wisconsin must not exceed those in the UW Extension publication A2809 dated 2012. Before, you might have seen that asterisk for nutrient management plans on pastures. Here in Wisconsin, the pasture requirements are as follows. Pastures are required in a nutrient management plan when stocked at an average rate of more than one animal unit per acre during the grazing season. For reference, an animal unit consists of 1,000 pounds of an animal. For example, that might be a dairy heifer or it might be a few hundred chickens. Pastures are not required in a nutrient management plan when the pasture is stocked at an average stocking rate of one animal unit or less during that grazing season, or those pastures do not receive mechanical applications of commercial fertilizer or manure or other nutrients. Like mentioned before, a nutrient management plan must be prepared by a qualified planner. So who is presumptively qualified to write those plans? Well, you could be one of a few things. You could be a certified professional crop consultant. a certified crop advisor or professional agronomist, or a soil scientist. And those previous credentials are through the societies like this. Otherwise, a landowner can be qualified to write their own nutrient management plan if they complete a department approved training course once every 4 years to maintain that qualification. The definition of a landowner is a person who owns a parcel of land and or a person who rents, controls, or uses a parcel of land for agricultural purposes. In ATCP 50, we have that requirement that nutrient management plans shall be based on soil nutrient tests conducted at a laboratory certified by DACCAP. That includes all the tests labeled below, from soil pH to micronutrients, organic matter, obviously phosphorus and potassium. But what you'll note on here is that nitrogen is not specifically a test conducted by the labs. So who are these labs and where do they exist? You can find a list of labs that are certified currently by DACCAP, and this is the most up-to-date list that we have as of today's date. You can find that on our website, get their email addresses, other contact information, and figure out where those labs exist so that you can work with your producers to make sure they get their samples to one of these certified labs. Keep in mind that this list may change in the future. Just be sure to go to our DACCAP webpage for nutrient management and locate that list to make sure that you have the most up-to-date list for those labs. Again, soil tests are not required on pastures that do not receive mechanical applications of nutrients if either of the following apply. That stocking rate is lower than 1 animal unit per acre at all times during the grazing season, or pastures are stocked at an average rate of more than 1 animal unit per acre during the grazing season, and a nutrient management plan is compliant while using an assumed soil test P level of 150 parts per million and organic matter content of at least 6%. And again, those landowners may be required to provide documentation to the county land conservation department that animal stocking rates and soil test values meet the requirements in a nutrient management plan. Like I said before, a nutrient management plan shall comply with the NRCS Conservation Practice Standard 590, dated December 2015. Additionally, nutrient management plans must comply with the Wisconsin Conservation Planning Tech Note 1, dated February 2016. Specific setbacks and guidelines come from the NRCS 590 standard, and you will learn more about those 590 standards in a future presentation. As well, nutrient applications must not exceed the recommended amount found in UW publication A2809, which is the UW publication for nutrient application guidelines for field, vegetable, and fruit crops. Recommendations must match recommendations found on soil test results from a certified lab. However, those recommendations are built into SNAP Plus. Unless a nutrient management planner can show that one or more of the following circumstances justifies additional nutrient applications: a soil tissue test reveals specific deficiency, excess nutrients are the result of an unforeseen changes in the type of crop planted, excess nutrients are the result of mineral applications made in the last year prior to implementation of the nutrient management plan, or other special agronomic conditions documented by the NM planner, and must include credible information to show that the higher applications will not materially increase environmental damage. Again, do not apply more nutrients than recommended in H109 unless the nutrient management planner can show that one or more of the following circumstances justifies the recommended application. Those soil tests, unforeseen changes in the type of crop planted, excess nutrients that are a result of manure applications made in the last year prior to implementation of that nutrient management plan, or other special agronomic conditions. That nutrient management planner who wishes to justify those higher application rates must include credible information to show that a higher application will not increase environmental damage. As well, making sure that nutrient management plans are reviewed annually. Landowners or nutrient management planners shall annually review their nutrient management plan to determine whether the plan accurately reflects the planned crop, tolerable soil loss, nutrient application rates, and application methods. That plan shall be updated when necessary to reflect changes in planned activities. Instances where this may occur are due to weather changes, maybe commodity prices change, maybe they received a new piece of equipment and would like to use that instead. The most important piece on this slide is that any changes in the field that differ from what's in the nutrient management plan should go back and be accurately reflected in that nutrient management plan so as to show no additional conservation compliance issues arise due to those changes. Again, if you have any questions on nutrient management policy, conservation compliance, or things like that, please reach out. My name is Cody Calkins. Again, I'm the nutrient management policy specialist at DACCAP. Thank you.